Welcome back to Veteran Game, where we separate the hype from the hard truth, especially when it comes to niche sports games that somehow have fan bases more loyal than actual pro athletes. If you love gaming deep dives and honest reviews, slam that like button, subscribe, and let's spin up another brutally honest breakdown. Today, we're suiting up in tight spandex for Tour de France 2025, the latest entry in Cyanide Studios' long-running cycling sim series. Every year they promise a more authentic tour experience, a shinier coat of paint, and this year a big leap to Unreal Engine 5. But is this the year virtual cycling finally gets the adrenaline rush it desperately needs? Or are we still grinding up Mont Ventoux in slow motion while our controller gathers dust? Let's clip in and find out. First, let's address the elephant, or maybe the peloton in the room. Tour de France 2025 is not your typical racing game. If you're coming in expecting high-octane crashes, wild power-ups, or that classic rubber-banding AI you find in arcade racers, you're about to get a reality check harder than a Paris-Roubaix cobblestone. This is strategy-first, endurance-heavy simulation gaming. For some players, that's the dream. For others, it's a hard pass. So what's new this year? The big headline is the switch to Unreal Engine 5, and on paper, that's a huge upgrade. And honestly, the visual leap is real. You'll notice lusher green valleys, more convincing crowds, and finally, cyclists who don't all look like they were cloned from the same wax mannequin. The lighting is richer, the landscape's more immersive, and for the first time you'll actually want to stop and admire Mont Ventoux' mythical slopes, if you're not busy micromanaging your rider's heart rate. There's also some real love given to the famous stages. Whether you're hammering up the Col de la Madeleine, weaving through the narrow streets of Paris, or hanging on for dear life on the Mur de Huy in the Walloon Arrow, the game brings iconic tour locations to life. If you're a cycling diehard, you'll appreciate the authenticity. This year's route selection is more impressive than ever, including classics like Paris-Nice and Liège-Bastogne-Liège, plus new faves for the fans. And for the first time, the Flèche Wallonne makes an appearance, a true treat for fans of brutal, punchy climbs. But let's be honest, graphics only get you so far if the gameplay doesn't deliver. So how does Tour de France 2025 actually play? Well, it's complicated. At its heart, this game is more about managing energy than raw speed. You'll watch three colored bars obsessively stamina, attack, and sprint energy, planning when to go hard, when to rest, and when to huddle behind the peloton to save precious watts, trying to break away too soon. Bad idea. Burn out your reserves before the final sprint. You're toast. It's all about timing, positioning, and patience. This year introduces a new refueling system, which sounds wild until you realize it's really just a glorified energy gel mechanic. You pass through refresh zones, top up your Energel or Turbo Gel, and try not to chug it all before the final sprint. The twist. Turbogel only appears at the last feed zone, and if you use it, you get a short window of max attack before your rider basically hits a wall. It adds a little spice to the end game, but don't expect F1 pit stop drama. The key word here is little. As always, there are two main career modes: Pro Team, where you manage a whole squad through a season, and Pro Leader, where you nurture one rider's journey to the yellow jersey. You can swap between teammates during races, sacrifice one rider's energy to tow your star up a mountain, or micromanage tactics with basic commands. You'll sign new riders, climb the ranks, and unlock fresh events, but don't expect story cutscenes or Netflix docuseries drama. This is as dry and spreadsheet heavy as cycling gets. Speaking of dry, if you're not a hardcore tactics junkie, parts of Tour de France 2025 can feel glacial. Whole stretches of the game are about positioning, managing pace, and waiting for that split second to strike. You can, and sometimes will, hold down a button to just follow a rider for literal hours if you want. For the patient, the tension of the final 500 meters is real, and yes, it's exhilarating when you actually get there. For everyone else, it might feel like a never-ending team-building exercise with an occasional dopamine hit. That's not to say there's no skill. Mastering when to attack, how to shelter from the wind, and even how to hide behind teammates is essential, just like in real pro cycling. But those moments are surrounded by long periods of frankly waiting and conserving. The adrenaline spikes are few, but they can be intense. Let's talk about the handling. While the visuals are clearly next gen, the actual feel of the bike is still pretty basic. Corners aren't tricky unless you actively try to mess up, and crashes are rare. It's not about outbreaking the competition or threading the needle at high speed. It's about resource management, think Football Manager on two wheels. It's all functional, but don't expect to be blown away by simulation physics or tactile feedback. One thing that does work in the game's favor is its authenticity. The game is packed with real riders, teams, and classic jerseys. Customization is pretty deep. Create your own team, tweak strategies, and unlock cosmetic upgrades by tackling seasonal challenges or performing well in key events. If you want to see your avatar in the yellow jersey atop Montmartre, this is your playground. Multiplayer is back, both for casual rides with friends and more serious leaderboard chases. But online options are limited, max 6 players, and private races if you want. If you're looking for a full-blown esports cycling experience, you'll have to wait at least another year. The menus have gotten a facelift, the HUD is tidier, and new event editing tools let you play around with custom races, which is always a nice bonus. Now some pain points. The commentary is honestly stale if you've played previous years. You've probably memorized the sound bites by now. The graphics, while massively improved, can still get blurry, especially in fast motion or at a distance. There are occasional frame drops, and the cyclist animations, while less robotic, still aren't going to fool anyone. It's beautiful from afar, but don't expect Forza level polish. And finally, the big question: who is this game for? If you're a Tour de France mega fan, a stats nerd, or someone who genuinely enjoys slow burn, tactical sports sims, Tour de France 2025 is an easy recommendation. The attention to detail, the atmosphere, the sheer sense of scale, it's all there, and the new visuals finally do the sport justice. You'll get lost in the rhythm, appreciate the strategic choices, and probably sink dozens of hours into perfecting your tour. But if you're looking for pick-up-and-play racing, constant action, or arcade thrills, you'll probably bounce off hard. The pace is deliberate, the strategy front and center, and the learning curve can feel steep, especially if you're new to cycling or expect immediate payoffs. So here's the bottom line from Veteran Game. Tour de France 2025 is the most gorgeous, most authentic, and most demanding cycling sim ever made. It's a love letter to the sport and its fans, but it's not trying to win over the mainstream. For those who get it, the final sprint will be worth every careful kilometer. For everyone else, you might just want to change the channel before you nod off. Let me know in the comments, are you a Tour de France diehard? Or is this one tour you'll just watch from the sidelines? If you found this review helpful or brutally honest, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives and hot takes. And stay tuned for our next game breakdown right here on Veteran Game. Thanks for riding with us. See you at the finish line.